Okay, I'm going to put my Christmas lights on. Well, they're not Christmas lights, really. Well, actually, I could put my Christmas lights on, couldn't I? I should have figured this out before we started. Here we go. Hold on. What's Christmassy? Curtains green. Green Christmassy? Sort of Christmassy. Oh, and I'll change the other ones. Christmassy. That's kind of Christmassy. It's kind of Christmassy. Okay, as good as it gets. So this is just a quick video to say hi and to let you know that I've had my hair cut. My annual visit to the hairdressers has happened and I've got it all lopped off. But also, and perhaps more interesting for you, because you're probably not here to hear me talk about my haircut, is to let you know that I'm working on a new post office video, because I know some of you are keen to get another post office video from me, and you've been waiting quite patiently for it. It's going to be about the first day of the closing statements made at the post office inquiry, the Post Office Horizon IT inquiry. I'm looking mainly at the closing statements made by the lawyers representing the sub-postmasters, and I think something interesting happened. So hopefully you'll find it interesting too. I was hoping to get that to you before Christmas, but I'm still finalising the script for it. And right now, as I'm filming this, it's December 23rd here in Australia. So there's no chance I'm going to get that video up before Christmas. But I will get it up on my channel sometime between Christmas and the New Year. So I just wanted to let you know about that. But as well as letting you know about that video that's coming up, I wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. It's not feeling very Christmassy here in Australia. I live in Queensland, North Queensland. It's very hot up here. It's around 40 degrees centigrade at the moment, which is 104 degrees Fahrenheit for you folk in the UK, US, and wherever else metric hasn't quite reached you yet. And so it's very, very hot. They've got a saying here. I think they've got a saying here. Well, maybe it's just me who says it, that we've got some of the best beef in the world here in Queensland because our cattle are slow roasted for their entire lives. Apologies if you're a veggie or vegan. Now, I find it quite hard to get my head around Christmas here. It should be cold outside if it's Christmas. That's what I think anyway. Snow and all that stuff. Like proper Dickens Christmas Carol. Even though I know that Christmas in the UK is mostly just grey skies and relentless drizzle, but hey, I'll remember it how I damn well like. So it doesn't feel quite Christmassy, but it does feel as though the year's coming to a close. And it's been a tough year for everyone, particularly in regards to the post office scandal. It's really shaken us all up. But I think there's something really quite hopeful in it all. Many of us are hopeful that some prosecutions are coming in regard to the horrific behaviours of people in the post office as well as in government and at Fujitsu. But a lot of us are a bit jaded, fearing the worst, that the folk at the top will somehow manage yet again to avoid having to pay for their actions. And let's hope that those sub-postmasters and everyone else who's been harmed gets justice sometime next year, not least gets repaid the money the post office took off them, and that they get some proper compensation on top of that. But I think whatever happens, I think there is a ray of hope, and that is all about how the public have responded to all of this. The empathy, the anger, and the coming forward of decent people who are saying, we're sick of people being treated like this, and we won't stand for it. And when we stand together, we're strong. And there are more of us at the bottom than there are those at the top. And you might not know it, but those at the top are always aware of that. And it's that which can put them in a cold sweat, even if the harm they've caused doesn't. I really do think that there are many more good people in the world than there are bad people, and that's the thing that keeps me going. Oh, one more thing. Charlotte Edwards from the BBC asked me to contribute to a story. This is the other reason I wanted to make this quick video for you. She asked me to contribute to a story she was writing for BBC Business about the inquiry. And the story got published on the BBC website on Saturday. I'll put a link in the description box if you want to have a look at it. It was a nice little story about the reasons why people have been following the Post Office inquiry and what drew them to it. And they made mention of little old me, which was nice, but I'm not sure how I feel about being called a superfan. It doesn't quite capture what it's all about. I don't think we're fans. I think we're all just concerned citizens. Anyway, that aside, the important thing was that they mentioned me because of my Post Office YouTube videos, in particular the recent one on the Magnificent Mr Beer. So I wanted to say a big thank you to you for helping me get that video some views and some attention, because the BBC wouldn't have known it existed if you hadn't given it some views and given it some likes and made some lovely comments and all that stuff. So, you know, that would have twiddled the old algorithms to get it into people's feeds, and that probably brought it to the BBC's attention. And that meant that you've helped give Mr Beer a bit of extra positive attention, which I'm really delighted about. Some of the other folk mentioned in the story seemed really lovely, and it was so nice hearing about the reasons why they became interested in the inquiry. And I kind of wondered why you had, if this is the reason you're watching this bit of my channel. I don't know, I do other stuff on my channel, but for the Post Office videos, kind of wondering, yeah, what drew you to the inquiry? I'd love to hear from you, so if you can leave a comment, let us all know. I'll tell you the thing I loved in the story that the BBC published. I love what Abby Smith did. She responded to watching Paula Venables give her evidence, and Abby, like the rest of us, was very taken aback by Paula saying that she didn't know what was going on. Like, yeah, really. And that drove Abby to make her own statement about it all in her own particular way, which I think was delightful. She did it in the form of knitting a hat to go on top of a pillar box, which represented Venables being questioned by Mr Beer. Now, how fabulous is that? And I really like the quote at the end of the story from Pei Khan. He's a litigation lawyer, and he's been painting scenes from the inquiry, which I just love that he's doing that. You know, it's his own way of making those folk accountable by keeping a record of them and rendering it in paintings. I love it. But what I really loved is what he said. He said, "I hope we never lose the moral clarity to stand up when we see the little guy being beaten down, and that the public will always back those who need it most." I think he's put that really well, and for me that's a nice kind of Christmassy message for us all. Anyway, so I'll see you hopefully before the new year arrives, if I can finish off the script, get it filmed, and then go through the horror of editing it before 2024 runs out. And so hopefully I'll see you then, and if not then, maybe in a later video. Anyway, all the best for the Christmas season, if you celebrate Christmas. Okay, so till then, ta-da.